So for those of you who are familiar with my channel, I made a video about a few months ago, 8-9 months ago, on the Logitech G Pro wireless. It pretty much just said how much I didn't like the shape, and as much as I appreciated and respected the mouse for what it was, which was a safe shape, good battery life, wireless, and good for most overall users, I was personally not a fan of it. I did give some examples of mice that I was going to lean towards as time moved on, but I ended up sticking with the XM1 until now. That is, now that Logitech has released the Shroud Edition G303, which is a revamped version of the original G303, I have purchased it, I have played with it for a few days, and today I'm going to review it. Now this review isn't going to be super technical. It's not going to be like, a bunch of statistics and, responsive and all that. It's going to be mainly on the way that it feels when I use it. Being a claw player, this mouse is meant for claw players or claw grip. So I'm going to be giving you my honest opinion on what I think about it. So this is the way the G303 looks like. It's of course wireless and made by Logitech. Now it doesn't have any like RGB on it, so it's not super fancy when it comes to the way it looks, but it is a really sleek design. And like I said before, it is a remake of the original G303. Now this mouse is made for claw grip, which means you have to hold it like this. You can't really palm it because it's not really too comfortable. There's a bump in the back that kind of prevents you from doing so. You might be able to palm it if your hand was small enough, but I don't think it's gonna be very comfortable even for people like that. Like, it's almost impossible to palm it. It hurts my hand just holding it like that. So it is meant for claw people. That's why the indentions on the sides are a little bit sunken in. This is meant for your fingers to be able to grip it on the side like this, so it's a lot easier. Now the mouse has a few things about it that I feel are not really well talked about whenever they're reviewed on YouTube. One of them being that the sensor is a little bit more towards the bottom of the mouse rather than the top. So if you look at other mice, like for example, look at this one. The sensor is smack dab in the middle. So that being said, it feels very centered when you aim it. But whenever you go to this mouse, it's a little bit more towards the bottom than it is towards the middle. And I know it's not going to seem like a lot. It's only going to seem like a few centimeters off from the other mouse, but trust me, it's going to make a world of difference whenever you actually try it. Now, I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. I don't think that the center being at the bottom is really that bad. You actually get used to it quite easily. I got used to it after a few hours of playing, and I think I do prefer it at the bottom, to be honest, after really giving it a try. But the reason it's at the bottom, or the reason I think they put it at the bottom, is because since it is claw grip, you kind of move it this way, so it's not really like other grips, for example, where your hand is directly on top of the mouse, so it becomes kind of an extension of your hand. When it comes to claw, it's actually a lot more beneficial for the sensor to be there because you kind of move it this way, in and out. Now another thing about this mouse, if you're used to other mice, the side buttons are kind of a little bit weird. Oh, mainly this back one. The top one feels really good. I don't really have too many problems with it, but the back one can be a little bit hard to find when you're like in the thick of it, whenever you're fighting in a game, or whenever you're in a gun battle and you have to use your ability. It can be a little bit difficult to find this button sometimes. Not to mention they're very skinny, so sometimes you might miss it if you're not used to it, or if you're used to a mice with bigger buttons on it. But the buttons themselves are actually very clicky. I actually like them a lot. They're really responsive compared to the Superlight or the Logitech G Pro, which are kind of mushy in a way. The clicks are very clicky and very responsive, so it's pretty much like the Logitech G Pro and the Superlight. But the good thing about this is that they use a different kind of switch than the Logitech G Pro, so the odds of getting double click issues are almost impossible. And the scroll wheel feels super clean too, and it's very easy to reach. I hate mice, for example, let me show you this one. Sorry, mice. This one feels kind of booty because it's very hard to turn. It's very cracky and clicky, which some people like, but I don't personally. I like the mouse wheel to be easy to reach for me and to be very smooth, which this one is, of course. And it does have a DPI button on the top, just in case you want to switch your DPI on the fly. Now let's talk about the battery life of this mouse. So this mouse goes in for about 170 hours. Supposedly, that's what it said on the pamphlet. But whenever I got this mouse, it was at 50% straight out of the box, and I've been using it for about 4 days, and I think it's about at 43, 44. So it's only been about 6% for the last 4 days, which I think is incredible. Most people say that the people that buy this mouse will have it for 2 or 3 weeks, and it'll go down to maybe 30%. So most people are guessing that it's going to take about a month for you to actually have to charge it. Now I think the shape is super convenient because I actually had problems with my XM1, which probably one of the best mice I've ever had. But I do play a very aggressive claw, and I did have wrist pains with that mouse because it was while it was flat on the top, it could be kind of chubby on the sides. So the fact that this mouse has these indentions on the side has made it a lot easier on my wrist because I don't have to like grip it to hold it, and my fingers kind of find a place to rest on it naturally. So ever since then, my wrist pain has been getting a lot better. So if you are someone that's having trouble with wrist pain, for example, or you are having trouble with maybe carpal tunnel, then this mouse might be a little bit more ergonomic for you to hold. Now, of course, the conclusion, do I recommend the mouse? Now, this is coming from an FPS player, somebody who plays Valorant mainly, but all in all, I do recommend it extremely. The mouse goes for about $130. I got it on sale for $100, so you could kind of find a sale out there to kind of make it a little bit easier on your wallet. But it's honestly the best mouse I've ever had so far. It's the best for claw. It's been super comfortable to use. I can use it for fingertip because whenever I edit or whenever I'm like on YouTube, I fingertip it. So like I don't put my whole hand on it, I just kind of move it around. So if you are a person that has that grip, it might be also kind of good for you. There are better mice out there for fingertip, but I mean, this could do the job. But when it comes to good battery life, almost 200 hours, a great shape, super well made. There's no creaking, there's no like stretching. Really good design on the top, so it's not too like slippery or too oily. I think it's honestly a steal. Like, I think they could have probably sold this mouse for 150, especially with the Shroud logo on it. They could have sold for a lot more. So the fact that it's actually this cheap is super good, and this is probably my #1 mouse for the year. So anyways, guys, thank you all so much for being here. I appreciate it. Let me know what you guys think of videos like this. I really do enjoy reviewing stuff for the mice I have, and thank you so much. I will see you on the next video. Bye.